Joining us now on the Buyers Barricade guest line, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer joins us on the program. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right, Coach. Have you had time to listen to the new Taylor Swift album? What's your favorite track so far?
Champagne?
Oh, my daughter would be very upset that I haven't. I didn't even know she's got a new record out. When did this break?
Oh, it came out last night.
11
Coach.
o'clock,
It sounds like
Coach.
you've got something for the plane ride up to New York.
To be honest, I might have to wait. Listen to that on the way home from work this afternoon.
I think that might be the move. It's the life of a showgirl. A lot of us know it, Coach. The life of a showgirl. Us and Taylor.
Like you guys, do you guys have a favorite track?
The title track is my favorite so far.
It's got a good hook.
It's good. And Honey is pretty good also. We've been jamming it out here a little this morning, Coach.
All right, maybe I'll throw it on my Spotify. I'm a Spotify guy, so I'll throw it on there and see what I think. I'll report back next week.
All right. All right. You might be Team Swifty with us next week. You never know. Hey,
I love it.
Coach, we were just talking about how, you guys have been so elite on one side of the ball and whatever the opposite of elite is on the other side of the ball. What kind of football team does that make? Because it's hard to be a great football team when you're really bad on one side of the ball, but it's hard to be an awful football team when you're so great on the other side. Where do you think you guys are right now compared to where you hope you can be?
Yeah, well, the question is real. The question is fair. We're not where we need to be. And again, I think when you look at it, the main objective for us is to win. And with our record being 1-2-1, we've obviously not done that enough. And this is the ultimate team game. And really, I've always believed this, and I've said this to players on numerous occasions, that for you to win most games, remove the turnover battle and taking care of the ball and all that stuff, you need to win two of the three phases. So the three phases, of course, are offense, defense, special teams. And you need to be able to do that because that is what's called complementary football. And unfortunately for us, we just have not done a good enough job of that. There's been moments that the defense has played well, and we haven't been able to feed off of that. And then there's been times where we've scored points, taken the lead, and the defense hasn't been able to get the stop to put the game away. And a lot of it is just learning how to finish. And, I really hoped that we were going to find a way to beat Green Bay and put that one away, because that would have given us not just the Giants, but a second game where, man, it was back and forth and all this stuff. And really the experience of pulling games out and winning close games, which is what this league is about, guys. There's rarely, I got home and saw the last few minutes of overtime last night. Like that's what this league is. It's back and forth, and it takes complementary football to find ways to win, and we're not where we need to be in that regard yet.
You've got a Tyler issue with a bunch of banged up Tylers and linemen. Give us the status of your Tylers and the rest of your linemen. After your line came off, I think the best game they've had all season.
Yeah, they really did. And again, I'm so excited about where we're going with that group and the physicality that they play with, both the run and the pass protection piece of it. And that was a damn good front we played last week against Green Bay. We're going to play a really good front this week again, with Keenan Williams and guys like that in New York. But again, I'm not avoiding the question. We're definitely beat up as a football team. It's part of the deal when you have two overtime games, your 70 plus minutes and your first four games. Today we'll know a lot more. I would say all those guys are doing everything in their power to get back, but I want to see them move around a little bit today, try to move around today, because today's our last day of kind of running full speed. Wednesday is usually a padded practice. Thursday you go shells. Friday, today you're in helmets, but you're running. Like it's a dress rehearsal. You're kind of hitting your red zone stuff, some 2-minute stuff, a little bit of your third down, your opener, stuff like that. So I'll have a better idea, but I think the bigger question is, maybe we should just, change somebody's name. I don't know who it would be, but the Tyler brothers they're definitely hurting a little bit.
Yeah, I could say. I don't know.
TJ's the first name in Tyler, is it?
I don't know who's going to volunteer, but I mean, is TJ Bass's first name Tyler?
Is his name Tyler? I hope not.
I hope not too.
Yeah, I know. I don't think so. I don't believe so. And he's definitely not going by Tyler if his name is Tyler.
Yeah, no.
Like
Coach, this is a two-part question. One is game specific, and one's about your philosophy as a coach. I'll ask that one first. Do you believe in we are what we are going to be, and this is my game plan, this is my vision, this is what I'm going to stick to, or do you change what you are based on your opponent's weaknesses? Like, how do you approach those types of things?
Yeah, I think we always have a philosophy. Like we have a belief of who we are. We know how we want to play the game. We understand how we want to attack. We basically break our plays into really three categories, guys. We've got what we call primary, which they're going to be in basically every week. You have secondary plays, which they're going to be in probably, I would say, half the time, maybe a little bit less than half the time. Then we've got game plan specific plays that are very front specific, opponent specific, 3-4 type plays, 4-3 man-to-man plays, and those are in, I'd say a handful of times each week when you play an opponent like that. But you're always looking to attack the opponent. Like there's things that we know on both sides of the ball that the Jets do well. There's things that we feel like we have the advantage that we're going to try to take advantage of. But you never want to get too far away from what you believe in because, for example, there's plays that Dak just knows cold. And for me to remove some of those plays because maybe a team or an opponent has shown the ability to cover those plays pretty well doesn't make a whole lot of sense because if you believe in your ability to go and make those plays and those throws and execute at a high level, I really believe that confidence is more important than anything.
The reason why I asked that is one of the statistical anomalies that I found this week digging into this game is you guys run zone coverage more than anybody in the league this year. And Justin Fields he's not great against zone, but he might be the worst quarterback in the league against man-to-man coverage. Do you talk to Flus and say, hey, I know we've been running a lot of zone, but this might be a week where we show him some different looks and see if we can change things up a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're aware of those numbers, and we have a great analytics department that gives us those things. And you are on your facts, so kudos to you. You've got your facts down for sure. But yeah, the biggest thing is that again, what I love going into this matchup is if anybody knows Justin Fields better than Matt Eberflus, I'd love to know who it is, just because of his exposure to him, being in Chicago with him for 2 years. He knows his strengths. He knows. What he does well. He does a lot of things well. He's got some weapons. They live with the running game, and then he's going to find Garrett Wilson and Mason Taylor was a guy that I coached Jason Taylor back with the Jets 100 years ago, and Mason was running around. He was just a toddler. But the answer to the question is 1,000%. We look at those things. We factor those things in when we're building our plan throughout the early parts of the week.
Looking at your offense is just clicking. What is it about Dak? I've asked you this question several weeks in a row, and every time I watch him play, there's been something different. What is it about Dak from week to week that you're seeing that is different as far as staying locked in and finding different dudes at different times? Last week I was so impressed with his ability to kind of pepper the ball around in the second half, where I was, he tends to lock in on some guys. What is it about what you're seeing from him now that we didn't see last year? And give me your answer for this week, and I'll ask you it again next week.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I'll start prepping for next week's answer too, so I don't make it too boring for you guys. Keep saying the same thing. Here's what I'd say. I love how he's reading progressions.
Right.
So obviously progressions are when, you go from number one receiver to number two to number three, number four. And like what you're seeing is like, he's not forcing the ball to a George Pickens. Like a couple big plays last week for, Ryan Flournoy. Jalen Tolbert had a big 3rd down and 5 conversion on a shallow cross, right? And sometimes those guys aren't the primary option, but what he's doing is he's reading the defense at such a high level. The ball's being spread around, and he's playing like a point guard, man. Like, I was a huge basketball guy kind of growing up, man, and I'm dating myself, but like, dude, John Stockton, his ability just to run the show and push the ball down the field, and then Jason Williams, how he would go, and that's what Dak's doing right now. He's just the point guard of this offense, and he's distributing the ball and it's going different spots. He's playing with great eyes, and that gets everybody involved. And when you get everybody involved, man, and the moments become big, guys know that Dak trusts them. And that's why I think, like, in overtime, the Jalen Tolbert catch on the sideline, man, what an incredible catch. I mean, heck, I was getting ready to get my 3rd and 7 call ready, and all of a sudden my guys up in the box are like, dude, first down at the 7 or whatever. I'm like, what? I mean, it was just such an incredible catch. So that point guard mentality that Dak's playing with has been fun for me to watch.
It's been hard for some of his receivers to get his trust, hasn't it?
Well, I think it's time spent, guys. I mean, like, it is time spent, and it's communication, and our guys do a ton of talking when so the way the practice works, right, we'll go out and the offense will run 5 plays, and then they come off and the defense goes out versus scout team and they run 5 plays. Well, what I've noticed a ton is the communication between Dak and the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs that they're having, talking about, hey, well, I thought you were going to do this. Well, no, I thought you wanted me to do that. No, I want you to do this. Oh, okay, well, I'll do that. And those are the things that we preach because of the relationships and having the hard conversations and stuff like that. So all those things are a big byproduct of the confidence that we're playing with right now as an offensive unit.
Despite all the PFF stat site that I'm sure you also see what you guys are doing there, but I fall back on a lot. It shows the Cowboys the worst pass blocking offensive line in the league, but a top 3 run blocking unit. And my thought was, Coach, when you start to lose bodies, the swing guys, I don't hate to say the lesser players, but the non-starters who are having to step up and take starter minutes. I know every offensive lineman prefers to run block versus pass blocking, so it's obviously a lot harder to find elite pass blocker. But do you find that when your offensive line starts to get injured, you tend to lean more towards running the ball because that's what everybody's at least excited to run block?
Well, I think let's look at last week a little bit. Like last week, we were playing obviously a very explosive defensive front, and I think we always want to be balanced. I think you don't really think of it that way. You've got a plan going in, but like you've got to be ready to adjust. And like next thing you know, you come out of the game against Green Bay, you've thrown it whatever it was 40-something times, and again, that wasn't necessarily the game plan, but we also weren't necessarily planning on being 70 minutes. But I do think that there's certain types of runs that we're good at. There's certain types of passes that we're good at, and the depth of this roster. I have a lot of confidence in. I know Dak has a lot of confidence in, and I think that's so important because whether it's Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass, somebody gave me a stat about how well those guys have played together. Well, let's think about it. Those guys have been together now, I think, for going on almost their 3rd year together. So they've also done a lot of work on scout team together when they weren't starting. But the communication and the timing and the brotherhood and all that stuff is real. And so I do think you have to go in with a plan and be ready to adjust. But no, we're not gonna be conservative if you're down a couple guys in any spot. It's part of the game. There's no excuses, and you got to go out and execute.
All right, that is Coach Brian Schottenheimer. Coach, I don't know if I should say congratulations on the tie. I mean, it beats one of the alternatives. I mean, so I'm sure you've had better and worse weeks since being the coach of the Cowboys, but as a good football team, you guys had a tie with.
Yeah, and you've been asked a lot. Would you change the rules?
Yeah. Well, again, first of all, yeah, I don't know how to take the tie. I really don't. But
none of us do.
the process for me is always the same. Whether you win, whether you lose, and now, I mean, I can't remember the last tie I had. I think it was back in 1997 when I was with the Chiefs, I think. But again, would I change the rules? I don't know. I mean, I maybe would add a little bit more time to overtime. But again, I think at the end of the day, we're on to New York, and whether you win, lose, or tie, man, this league, there's always something humbling coming around the corner versus the next opponent, so you got to get ready.
Well, Coach, I'm going to leave you with that homework. Get that new Taylor Swift album in, and let us know what your favorite banger is off that thing by next week. Well, I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely, I'll have it rated for you guys. I'll have listened to it, and I'll be ready to go.
Do you have an all-time favorite Taylor song?
Man, So my daughter would kill me for freezing up in the moment like this.
No, you earn points in my book that you don't.
Yeah, Rob doesn't know one either.
Yeah.
Well done.
Mine's mean. Why you got to be so mean? I just think it's a
that's a good one.
classic. Yeah.
I will say this: my daughter, I've taken my daughter and my family to 2 different Taylor Swift concerts, and I hum the words. I don't really know the words, but I hum the words.
Well, Coach, I got a blank space, baby. I'll write your name in for next week, and we'll
Wow,
talk to you again.
That song. Good job.
Wow.
We'll pencil you into that blank space next week,
Let
right here,
him go.
8:30. We'll do it again. Thank you for the time. We'll talk to you next week, Coach.
Thanks, Josh.
Take care, guys.